Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to the channel. I hope that you're having a stunning one. Listen, let's go ahead and listen to some Sting. Let's move on to this track that a lot of you had suggested here. We're going to listen to Children's Crusade. I'm still typing and pulling it up. I pressed the record button without really having anything quite ready. However, this is going to be, of course, off the album The Dream of Blue Turtle's debut solo album from Sting, released 1985. Some of you that had suggested this one, and I'm hoping I got most of you at least. Monty Ernst, Eagles Rule, Jit, Jaybird, you liked this one a lot as well. Dave041, Big Joppy, Valora Loves as well. And Sidecar Dogs. There you go. I got you. I think I got all you guys. There absolutely may have been more. But those are the people I see immediately. So thank you guys so much for the suggestion. Let's go ahead and dive right on into it. We'll, of course, discuss it a little bit after. Here we go. How the bass leads the sax here. I feel like there's a lot to this track, and I'm going to try and get to as much as I can, but I feel like I'm going to miss something. Okay, so first of all, the very, very, very tail end here, right? The whole track is incredibly melodic, very beautiful. It's a very powerful track. But the very end, those last few piano notes kind of gave a little bit of like an off key almost, right? There was something off about that, which works very, very well in the totality of the message of this track. Really wonderfully done. Like, for as sweet as the music is, let's not forget the message behind it and the realities behind it, right? That's what I feel like those last few piano notes are. The drumming is absolutely smooth, absolutely just like sleek in here. It's so subtle. The melodies are gorgeous and subtle. Everything right here is just sublime in how it's approached, from Sting singing here for the most part in the verse into like the bass line, absolutely brilliant and powerfully rhythmic. And it all just kind of creeps by at this nice, cool pace. And then when it gets into the chorus, some of the more uplifting moments of the chorus, if I can use that word, kind of sound very proud to me. Very, very proud, perhaps even a little bit nationalistic. And I think that also works very well in line with the message of the song to an extent, which we'll dive into the lyrics and everything there. But I think that ties in together incredibly well. And then what I also liked is the structure of this track. After the second chorus, hold on, let me look. No, it's a first listen. Sometimes I don't catch everything. After the first chorus. After the second chorus. Okay, so maybe it wasn't that different, but maybe it felt different somehow. After the second chorus, they go into that instrumental break, and like it's chaotic, but in a very beautiful, cool, Sting, jazzy kind of way. And I don't know why I was thinking that break came in at a weird place, but it didn't. It came in like in typical structure. So, like I said, first listen, but there's something about the song that made me think that. But that part is just so powerful. It feels like these fireworks and these melodies just going off and bursting up into the sky. And like I said, for as sleek as it is presented to us, the audience listening to a Sting song and an album from him, there's still some sort of battle, some sort of conflict happening deeply, I think, in the music here. And the way that it swings just so calmly back into the chorus is nice. But those last notes leaves us with something a little bit more haunting in that respect. But the performance was really wonderful. I especially like in the break how, like I mentioned while it was happening, how that's the saxophone and the bass at that particular point were kind of working off each other really, really nicely at that particular point. Bass is going to be performed by Daryl Jones, and then the sax from Branford Marsalis. And I just thought that was really cool how it felt like they were leading each other in a certain kind of way. One chasing the other, with the sax really prominently being led off and doing its own solo as that was going on. All right, Young Men Soldiers 1914, of course, that's going to be World War I, marching through countries they'd never seen. Virgins with Rifles, a game of charades, all for a children's crusade. I love this particular line right here, Virgins with Rifles, because it could mean, of course, two things. One, they're so young that they're virgins sexually. So, of course, we're sending our youth into war and such, as definitely works with Children's Crusade. Or virgins with rifles. They've never even held a gun. This is their first time holding a gun, let alone shooting and killing. Pawns in the game are not victims of chance, strewn on the fields of Belgium and France. Poppies for young men, death's bitter trade, all those young lives betrayed. I view this as in two ways. Poppies, I mean, it makes me think of the, remember Pink Floyd and that album that we had last listened to that I am totally forgetting the name of right now, but God, I can see the album cover and it has the poppy on there because that was kind of representative of, the war and death and being shot and such. Like, I'm getting a similar thing here. But on the other side, I'm also viewing this as like drugs, like poppies and opium is like the thing that's numbing them so that they can do this. So I might be going too far on that particular end, but I feel like it could be. Why can't I remember the name of the album? The Final Cut. God. The children of England will never be slaves. They're trapped on the wire and dying in waves. The flower of England, face down in the mud and stained in the blood of a whole generation. You can see that, like something to be proud of. The flower of England. Now it's just face down in the mud. Corpulent generals safe behind lines. History's lessons drowned in red wine. Poppies for young men, death's bitter trade. And of course, the young life's betrayed, right? Like they've been betrayed by those who are supposed to be protecting them. I like the line of history lessons drowned in red wine. The obvious, of course, red wine, blood, death, sure. But also like history's lessons are being forgotten. How are they being forgotten? By cruel men, cruel leaders being drunk off of power, war, etc. In a sense, red wine, but of course off of the blood of those who they send out. So it's not only drowned in red wine, but drunk on red wine, so to speak. Midnight in Soho, 1984. Much time has passed. Fixian doorways, opium slaves. There you go. Poppies for young men, such bitter trade. All those young lives betrayed. So quite a bit later, 70 years later, and a few things. Once again, opium slaves, because from PTSD and battle scars and such, like this is the only way they can cope. In the aftermath, now they're abandoned, and such. The country, the nation has used them, abused them, and now discarded them. So now they're just on the streets, opium slaves. But I also read the line of 1984, and I can't help but think of the book 1984, which I haven't read, but I do have it on my list. But I plan on getting into Animal Farm first before I read it, because I'm trying to work through like different novels and such. But I did read Brave New World, so I'm getting there. And I do know that 1984 is kind of this dystopian look of society and such. And so perhaps the dystopia is already here. That's how I kind of read that. Perhaps this very real outcome is and was the dystopia that is more current and more relevant, perhaps, than it should be. That's a brilliant track with a lot of great meaning, a lot of great writing, just really, really, really poignant. Let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, in the comments down below. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed the music, the message, the meaning, and maybe least of all, myself, but I hope that you did enjoy your stay. Please come on back by tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.